Namaskar dear students, welcome you to our channel Bio by Gulab Sir. As a part of series of lectures, today's topic is fat. In a series, we are learning about biomolecules. We learn about amino acids. Now we have to learn about fat. Now fats are very important components of living being since they are involved in a very important component of cell membrane. It is made up of lipid and protein. The part lipid is fat. Without fat, one cannot expect or one cannot imagine life on the earth. So how important that lipid is. Moreover, this fat or lipids, they are very important to form some important hormones like steroid hormones, cholesterol, also a part of lipid. Steroid hormones such as testosterone, progesterone, estrogen, glucocorticoid, sex corticoid, mineralocorticoid and so on. You are aware. Moreover, within the skin, we have adipose tissue where the fats are stored. These adipose tissue protect us from mechanical and thermal shock. It's very important. Moreover, these fats, that adipose tissue which present in the liver, about 95 to 99% of the liver is fat. Liver oil, you would have heard the word cod liver oil, very important. So see, without lipid one cannot accept our life. You know, liver is our lifeline and it is made up of oil. Then you can think that how important oil is. Made up of oil does mean that, it does not mean that everywhere oil is there, but liver has 95% oil. And therefore, when we eat the fat, after absorption of fatty acid and glycerol, it do not go to the liver, it go directly to the heart because liver has no place or space to store and have that oil, extra oil. Liver produces its own oil. So, just I am explaining you these things for importance of oil, importance of fat, importance of lipid. Now, as a part of syllabus, we have to learn about structure and functions of fats and lipids. Lipids, they are not macromolecule. They are not polymer. And they are not micromolecule also. They are macromolecule. But how they are macromolecule? If they are not polymer, then why they are not polymer? Because they are not made up of many or thousands of monomer like protein and starch. They are made up of only two substances, that is fatty acid and glycerol. Therefore, they are not polymer. But they are macromolecule because their molecular weight is more than 10,000 Dalton unit. So I have very clearly written that they are macromolecule because of their molecular weight is more than 10,000 Dalton unit. Otherwise, they are not macromolecules. So, to consider them in category of macromolecule, it is because of their molecular weight. Otherwise, they are not polymer. So, they are made up of fatty acid and glycerol. Both fatty acid and glycerol, they are simple lipid. But when we say that they are made up of fatty acid and glycerol, means that they are the ester of fatty acid and glycerol. What does ester? Ester is a functional group, as like aldehyde group, carboxyl group, acetone or ketone group. So there, this is a ester group. So to highlight that ester group, let you see, this is a ester form or functional group ester. It is formed by the combination of fatty acid and glycerol. That fatty acid and glycerol combine with the removal of water, and form ester of fatty acid and glycerol, that is fat. So see OH and OH. Here out of this hydroxyl group, water is released. When they come together, water is released. And here this, you can think in this way, that H2O is removed from here. H2O is removed from here in triglyceride fat. H2O from here is removed. So when we remove the H2O, what is left? C15H31, C double bond O, this O and CH2. So you can understand by this way. C15H33, C double bond O, C double bond O, C double bond O. And this O comes here as, and this CH2 is here. So you can understand with the removal of this water at three places, that 3H2O is released to form the triglyceride fat. Why it is called triglyceride fat? Because these three fatty acids combine with glycerol. Because of three fatty acids combined with glycerol, therefore it is triglyceride fat. If one fatty acid combined with glycerol, that will be monoglyceride fat. If two fatty acids combine with glycerol, diglyceride fat. Then what are these monoglyceride, diglyceride and triglyceride fat. Triglyceride fat is a natural fat, but monoglyceride and diglyceride fat are derived fat, because under heading of the types of fatty acid or fat, we are going to learn about this simple lipid, compound lipid and derived lipid. What are simple lipid? Natural fats, waxes and steroids are the simple lipid. What is that natural fat? Is a triglyceride fat. Is a natural fat. Then what are these derived lipid? Monoglyceride and diglyceride. Therefore I explain it. Monoglyceride and diglyceride are derived from triglyceride fat. And which triglyceride fat? Is a natural fat. And here I have written this example of simple lipids, that fatty acid, palmitic acid, arachidonic acid, triglyceride fat as shown on first diagram is a simple lipid. Natural fat is a triglyceride fat. Why it is natural? Because available as it is in nature. Then who are that derived lipid? They are the monoglyceride and diglyceride fat, which are derived from that natural fat, triglyceride fat, what I explained to you. Now compound lipid. Who are compound lipid? Compound lipid does mean that in addition to lipid it has something extra, something different group. Therefore glycolipid, see here written glycolipid. Lipid has glucose, lipid combined with carbohydrate and from the glycolipid. Lipid combined with phosphate and from the phospholipid. One of the phospholipid having phosphate is lecithin. I am going to have that discussion as a NEET. So lecithin is one of the phospholipid. It is a compound lipid. Then what are derived? Derived does means they are formed from simple lipid. That is called derived lipids. What are that example? Monoglyceride, diglyceride fat along with terpenes and carotenoids. They are the derived lipids. So here once again given example, that simple lipid, fatty acid, palmitic acid, arachidonic acid. Palmitic acid is a saturated and arachidonic acid is unsaturated. Triglyceride fat already discussed on first page. This is a triglyceride fat. 1, 2, 3 fatty acid with glycerol. That is triglyceride fat. Here glycerol is also a simple lipid. That is also known as trihydroxy. 1, 2, 3 hydroxyl group with 1, 2, 3 carbon. Therefore, trihydroxypropane is a chemical name according to IUPAC. Chemical name of glycerol. So, these are the simple lipids. Then, on the basis of whether they are saturated or unsaturated. So, on the basis of single or double or triple bond, they are classified as a saturated and unsaturated. Why they are called saturated? Because there is no any chance to have replacement of hydrogen, because they are fully saturated with their valency of carbon and they have single bond between two adjacent carbon atoms and therefore they are saturated. So who are saturated? Those fatty acid which has single bond between adjacent carbon of their long fatty acid chain, and that is saturated. But what are unsaturated? Those which has double or triple bond between adjacent carbon, means they have chance to have addition of hydrogen. Because of that they are unsaturated. Unsaturated means still can be added. Saturated means no more can be added. That is called saturated. We say that it is saturated now. Saturated means full ho gaya. That is what? No chance to add any hydrogen or any other non-fatty group. Therefore it has single bond. That valency is satisfied and that can be shown in this way also. Here this 4 valency of this carbon is satisfied. But here in this case it is not satisfied. Therefore double bond. That 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. One more can be added. One for each carbon can be added. And therefore presence of double and triple bond between two adjacent carbon of that fatty acid or in that fatty acid is called unsaturated fatty acid. Example, oleic acid, arachidonic acid. They remain liquid in room temperature, but they saturated, they are solid at room temperature. You would be knowing butter is a butyric acid, solid at room temperature. Stearic acid, animal fat, they are solid at room temperature. Palmitic acid, even coconut oil, during winter it becomes solid. Do groundnut oil become solid? No, because it is a unsaturated fat. So whatever oil we eat, they are in liquid state. Even in winter state they are unsaturated. But those which get solidified or become solid at very low temperature during winter, they are palmitic acid, butyric acid, stearic acid, and coconut oil also become solid, and therefore they are the saturated fatty acid. So I hope you got it. What are saturated and unsaturated? As I told you, one of the compound lipid, phospholipid, is a very important. That lecithin is a phospholipid, has phosphate in addition to lipid. Gingery oil is statement given in your book. the gingerly oil is very low melting point and hence it remain oil, that is liquid in condition. And why I have wrote here, because it separately mentioned in your textbook, can be asked in NEET, and therefore I have wrote there NEET also. Once again, what are the fats? Fat are the ester of fatty acid and glycerol. That means glycerol and fatty acid combine and form the fat, having ester bond between them, and therefore it is called as ester of fatty acid. Very important that fat, they are insoluble in water. They are very, very important. They are insoluble in water. Moreover, they do not as it is transfer across the membrane. They have to convert that fat, lipid has to convert into fatty acid and glycerol. Then they can be absorbed. You would be knowing that fat is an energy compound. During respiration, fat undergo breakdown to produce the fatty acid and glycerol, and later that fatty acid convert into dihydroxyacetone phosphate. And further dihydroxyacetone phosphate with phosphoglyceraldehyde convert into acetyl CoA and continue to have pathway into the respiration. But when fat are digested or oxidized or undergo as a respiration, when glucose or glycogen is finished. So during fasting, when we avoid to take the food or starch, all the glucose and glycogen get finished, and after that fats get mobilized, and that is what we say that we are on dieting. So fat require more oxygen to oxidize or to be a part of respiratory pathway. Therefore, one who has fatty body require more exercise or more field work. One who is fatty always has to prepare to have the field work or to have the ground game. To should not have indoor games, should have outdoor games, so that maximum oxygen will be taken to have mobilization of fat to reduce the fat, as they are highly reduced than that of glucose. Glucose get easily oxidized. Therefore, whenever you have glucose and fat together, which will get oxidized first? Glucose, and fat will deposit. Therefore, we should not eat sweet, oily or fried food. Why? Because along with fat, if you take sweet will be used and fat will be stored, and therefore your body become bulky. So as a part of lecture, as a part of syllabus, we are going to learn later how this fat get accumulated in our body and how to prevent their accumulation to check obesity. I hope this is a very important topic. So as a part of biomolecules, we are learning structure. We are learning some simple things, but still they are very important, because to understand the concept as a part of genetics, in biochemistry, even in metabolic reactions, this has very high importance. And even some of the diseases like Gulab Sir disease, it is because of accumulation of fat. And yes, there are concern diseases also we are going to learn later, not as a topic in today's lecture, but please remember and have the importance of knowledge about fat and their properties. So once again, to conclude, that the question which can be asked in NEET, that statement with reason, assertion and reason. Fats are not strictly macromolecule. Reason, they are not made up of many monomer, but they have molecular weight more than 10,000 Dalton unit will be the correct reason. So assertion and reason. That question can be asked. Also, I told you that lecithin is one of the phospholipid. Again, can be asked. Gingerly oil is a liquid in room temperature. That can be asked, as well as I have told you that some of the important components like waxes and steroids, they comes under the simple lipid category, not under derived or compound lipid. That also can be asked. Question can be asked. One of the following group of, or one of the following is odd one, because that wax can be added with monoglyceride, diglyceride, terpene, and this carotenoid will be the odd one in this group, because that is a simple, these are the derived lipids, and that kind of question can be asked. I hope you got it and enjoyed today's lecture. I hope you like it, and even if you are in doubt, you can ask in comment section. I appeal you to share and subscribe our channel, as well as press bell icon so as to receive notification as and when new videos are uploaded. Thank you.